Welcome to Azibo Stories. I'm Kaylin, here to showcase how landlords and renters are thriving with Azibo's all-in-one platform. From streamlined rent collection to comprehensive banking services, these real-life experiences highlight the impact Azibo has on simplifying property management and renting. Let's discover together how Azibo can be your partner in success.
My name is Mike Macon.
Okay, what is your position at Azibo?
Here at Azibo, I'm the senior manager of product marketing, and I'm also a real estate agent and investor here in California.
Okay, as somebody who works for Azibo and also uses our product, how do you think your experience as an employee influences your perspective as a user?
Being an employee here at Azibo, I feel like I get access to thousands of people's experience, right? As an investor, like this is something I'm new at. Just kind of learning. Got my first properties this year, but being at Azibo, I can see features and things that I would have never thought about, or I would have tried to do myself that I can clearly now see was of value to a lot of other investors that I've started to use myself. One example is lease writing. My first few tenants, I wrote my own lease. I downloaded some forms offline. I had a lawyer review it and I had to pay for that. But actually just yesterday, I used the Azibo lease platform because I was able to get updated leases for my state. I was able to take care of unique scenarios that I didn't even think about that weren't in my original lease. And now every lease I can kind of do something new. So it's definitely somewhere where like I didn't realize that was a thing before I did it, and I did my own and it was offline and it was expensive. But now being here, I was able to see the value in something like that. And I was able to take advantage of it.
So do you think with what we provide and everything that you use through us, it's something that the industry kind of lacks in kind of letting you know that you need to have it and different things that you need to utilize in everyday kind of property owning?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I learned when I started in real estate, my whole career before this has been at large corporations or tech companies, things where people really think about the user experience. People really think about how things work. Things typically work great. But when I got into real estate, especially as an agent, I realized just how fractured the industry was. There was really, for something simple as purchasing a house. I mean, house is not simple, but purchasing something. There's all these companies need to get involved. There's a ton of paperwork. There's reporting. There's escrow. There's title. There's insurance. There's inspectors, appraisers. It's just kind of a mess. Being a landlord is no different. You're still dealing with multiple people. You're buying these properties, and everything is just kind of disjointed. What you realize is that there are people out there who are trying to make solutions to make that easier. And there are technology solutions out there that are really taking all that complexity and bundling it together into one simplified user experience. So as an agent, I still find a hard time with that. But now as a landlord, especially working at Azibo, you realize that there are platforms that can kind of take a lot of the complexities of this business and a lot of the offline solutions that are there today and really make them online, make a solid UI, make them all in one place. And as with Azibo, like it's not very expensive. You can do it for cheap, and it just makes your life as a landlord, as an investor, that much easier.
Yeah. And you kind of touched on this already just with doing the lease agreements. The next question is just, can you describe how you personally use Azibo in your role as a landlord? And you kind of already touched on that. Did you use any of the other products? Like how have you used it other than the agreements?
I think accounting and bookkeeping is the other like stellar solution that Azibo offers. And not even just working at Azibo, but I mean, I've used competitors before I worked here and things like that. And I think the accounting and bookkeeping is really another place where it just saves landlords so much time. My background is in finance. I worked in financial planning analysis. I've built models. I've done Excel. And that's kind of how I ran the business before Azibo. I had a Google Sheet and I would go through each month and look at my credit card bill and retype the transactions. I had multiple sheets for different properties. I tried to create P&Ls and balance sheets. But it was just a huge mess. I had to worry about formulas. Things would go wrong. I'd forget to do it some months. I would talk to my accountant. He would ask me questions. I'd have to go back and look. But now with Azibo, everything is right there. You input your bank account information. It's connected automatically. All the transaction tagging is there. My personal favorite thing with the bookkeeping is splitting transactions. I work with a property manager. I invest out of state, so I actually don't even see the properties I own. I have somebody who handles it for me, and I get an invoice once a quarter for all the things that go wrong in my properties. And things always go wrong as a landlord. Actually, I just got a new bill today, but he sends me one invoice, and with Azibo, I'm able to split it across multiple properties in like one screen, right? It just gives me the amount. I split it 4 times or 5 times or however many, and it automatically rolls into those properties. I mean, it just makes, I haven't yet gone through an accounting year yet, but it makes my bookkeeping and my kind of financial analyst mind at ease, knowing that
Yeah.
just a few clicks, all these things are organized and neat, and I look at my P&Ls and everything almost every day. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, right. So would you say that that's probably the most valuable thing that Azibo offers in managing your properties?
Yeah, I'd say in managing them for sure. Like once you kind of get tenants in, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and just having that one thing at ease makes life so much easier.
Yeah. Um, and then based on your understanding of Azibo's like goals and missions, how well do you think our current products like align with these objectives?
I mean, I think they're strongly aligned. One of the things I love most about this company and being internal, I can see it, is like everything is meticulously thought out, and the user experience is always like top of mind. I mean, that's something I've been obsessed with my whole career. Is and I learned this early in my career that there's internal perspectives and there's customer perspectives. A lot of times, companies build things that they think will be cool for their customers because they think it's cool. Here, that mindset isn't very strong. It's mostly like, what do our customers want? What do our customers need? And how do we get that feedback? Do we do surveys? Do we talk to them? Most people here are landlords themselves. So while they might not have a ton of properties or might not have experience with some of like being a professional landlord, everybody here knows what it's like to have to deal with these issues. And that's always at the forefront. So every feature we put out, at least that I've seen, has always had the customer in mind, not our bottom line or not what we think is cool. But so I've found that using these products are extremely intuitive. It's taught me things like the lease creation. It's helped with the bookkeeping, just little things that can help me along the way. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and coming in as somebody who like didn't know very much about like all of this stuff in the industry, it's so crazy to see how meticulous they are. They think of every little thing that somebody could need. And
Yeah. I mean, Azibo is not my first tool that I've used to manage these properties. When I first bought my property, I got all excited, went out, did a Google search, found a bunch of these tools, and signed up for one. And I never ended up using it because the UI was so poor. It was clunky. Support was really bad. And I still, to this day, have the 1 year membership that I paid for it and I'm a part of. But I literally have not logged in because it was not useful for me. Not
mm,
they might not have landlords who work there or they don't think about the customer at all, but their UI and the things that they focused on at this point just weren't very valuable.
mm,
I don't find that here. I've actually gone in and used the product almost every day to manage my properties down. As we spoke about, I use more features than I thought I would coming into this. So
yeah, that's awesome. And again, I think you kind of like touch questions before I get to them, which is great. But are there any features or aspects of the product that like you as an insider, just being around our culture more and everything, appreciate more?
yeah, what I really like is that it's scalable. I mean, I'm an out of state investor, so I need things that can like cross states, right? Right now, most of my properties are in one state, but I have
Mm-hmm.
full plans in 2024 to kind of expand that. And just knowing that everything that we do has that multi-state use case, right? The lease generation, um, you kind of input where you are and the states are there,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have all these different bank accounts, all these different ways to collect rent. It just makes life easy and scalable. So just being an insider, I can see how things are built and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that you're able to kind of continue building your business through this platform. Um, I get to see all the features holistically, even though I might not use them. So as an insider, I can kind of see exactly what's going on in the future and what I will need to think through as I kind of scale the business.
Yeah.
Because, we have customers who have scaled already. So we have features built for them, things like that. And just being an insider, I get to see that and anticipate those needs for my business. Just knowing that Azibo has all those features already and thought through a lot of these issues.
Yeah, for sure. And then we're going to kind of get into like the improvements and suggestions, like kind of popping off of that. So like from your dual perspective of, how we were saying, just being around all of the back end and everything of it, as well as, from a property owner and landlord perspective, what improvements or new features would you think would be beneficial?
Well, once you make the business easy and you make the paperwork simple and the accounting simple and things like that, the next question is, how do you help a landlord scale? Right.
Mm-hmm.
What can we put in to help me research companies more? Zillow can be a little bit complicated sometimes to find properties and price things out. What services can we add to people who are looking to scale their business, right? Once one property is taken care of, it has tenants, leases are signed, accounting is handled. How do we help them go get the next property and the next property and the next property?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I would look for a platform like Azibo to be in the future, right? Be the one-stop shop from everything from purchasing a property through managing it.
Yeah, for sure. And then are there any processes or aspects of the product that you could believe to be like streamlined or enhanced? Like that's like our biggest thing. I feel like we use that word so much, like streamlined and enhanced. And I feel like we really do live by that, and especially on the back end of things, being an employee. And I feel like you said, like customers are at the top of everything as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that as well. I mean, I've seen since being here, like our Slack just goes off all day with customer support, right?
Yeah.
Hey, customer asked for this, a customer asked for that, a customer asked for this, a customer asked for that. Our CS team, when they hear something that a competitor has and that a customer asks we have, like those things are surfaced, not every day, like every hour.
Yeah.
Right? There's like an unrelenting
100%.
focus on what our customers want. And because we're so agile, because we're so focused on those customers, we sometimes, not every time, but can turn around new features that customers want really fast.
Right.
And again, I've seen that literally last night. There was a thread going out about a new feature, something that my tenants have asked for. And I can guarantee thousands of tenants and landlords have asked for around the country. And in just one night, we've gone from thinking it's a good idea to looking into it to now contacting companies to help work on the integration all the way through the use case that our customers are asking for. So like it's truly a focus on what the customer needs. And, right on our website, the first thing you read is that, we make things easy. And that's true. Like we really want to go out of our way to make things as easy for landlords around the country. And I think that's how Azibo is going to succeed.
Are you a property owner seeking an efficient way to manage your rental units? Azibo offers a comprehensive, cost-free solution. With Azibo, streamline your rental management process. Effortlessly collect rent through our diverse payment options like ACH, debit card or credit card, and find high-quality tenants using smart applications and comprehensive tenant screening. Azibo's platform includes state-specific digital lease generation and signing, ensuring compliance with ease. Also, optimize your finances with specialized accounting and tax preparation tools designed for property owners. Experience a more efficient maintenance request process and secure tenant communication with our dedicated portal. Plus, enjoy affordable property insurance with potential savings up to 25% on your portfolio. Join the community of savvy real estate investors who trust Azibo for managing their rental properties on a single, user-friendly platform. Get started for free at azibo.com. Discover the smarter way to manage your rental business with Azibo.
Yeah, and I think like from a social standpoint, when I do, these testimonials, this is, the first one that we're doing with a employee, but just from, our Trustpilot and Reddit and everything that, we pull our testimonials from, our CS team does a great job, and it's always how our customer support is on top and everything. And I think that, obviously goes with our brand and all of our stuff being streamlined and everything being easy and accessible, and straightforward on how to use and just being easy application and everything. But I do think, it's a big thing that, we are customer first, and it's always good to hear regardless of, where we get it from. But I'm glad,
Sure. And for customers, it's free. I mean, you have all these
yeah,
people working working for you
yeah,
to make your business easier, to make you more money, and it doesn't cost you a thing.
yeah, 100%. Um, So you answered this one, but the other similar products and services, and then how does that compare to Azibo, especially considering like your insider knowledge? And you kind of touched on that, but I don't know if you want to expand. If not, we can move on, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I think one of the things when I was looking for a solution uh, was one, can it do all the things a landlord need, right? Generate leases. Uh, Actually, honestly, the generate lease was the last thing, the least of my worries at the time. It was, can you accept rent?
Right.
I had tenants who wanted to pay on credit card, one who wanted to use a debit card. We convinced to use a bank transfer, but very early in my tenure, I realized tenants want to pay in different ways, um,
Right.
and it is very confusing to have uh, contact with multiple tenants each month. So, can it collect rent? Can it do all the basics? But another thing is just like, can you use it? I
Yeah.
found that the competitor I used,
If we decide not to.
yeah. So when I first came on board, I went with Rent Ready. Rent Ready has really great marketing. Anytime you Google this, Rent Ready is in your face. You kind of see them everywhere. But once I actually went ahead and logged onto that platform, things were going well. I input my tenants, I sent emails, but it just didn't work great. Um, Everything was there in theory. The website lists all the features and it all sounds great. But when you actually went to use it, the user experience just wasn't great. And again, coming from companies focused on customer experience and being in tech, like these are things I think a lot about. And it got to the point where after just a couple of weeks of trying to manage a tenant on there, work with my manager on emails, and connect bank accounts, things like that, it just wasn't an experience that I wanted to continue using. And I found myself logging in less and less, being confused when I did log in about how to handle a certain situation, and then just never wanting to do it again. And I actually went months without using a software, even though I was building my base and adding more tenants to my business. I went without a software because I just didn't realize there were better options out there.
Yeah.
So when I came to Azibo, I put in all my properties in order to kind of learn the platform and learn the product as an employee. But I realized how much simpler it was to use. Everything I want to do is easy. It's intuitive. The UI is there. So I think other competitors may list the same features that we have in some shape or form. They may say they offer things that are not as simple as they can be, like cash payments. I was really big on the fact that my tenants wanted to pay cash, so our competitors offered cash payments. But you quickly realize that they don't actually offer cash payments. They offer bank accounts that take cash payments, and they didn't want to pay with their bank account, so
Right.
things like that. So you quickly learn that the features that companies offer are not always the features that you're actually getting, and
Yeah.
definitely not in the way that they advertise. So um, I think Azibo really stands behind what it offers. It actually might even offer more than than what we market sometimes. So I think that I came here as an employee, but I am 100% now a customer of the platform, and it's not just because I'm an employee.
Yeah, and I definitely think something like around that is just how we also tailor the platform to tenants as well, because I think a lot of those property management platforms kind of only tailor it to the landlords and the property managers instead of like kind of also
Yeah,
throwing in the tenants in there and making it easy for them to use as well instead of just easy for the landlord and then kind of just saying, oh, well, either they don't have anything for tenants or they make it, not as usable and easy for tenants to use. And we kind of, I feel like we are very good about kind of having that weight equal for both to be able to use it, easy easier for both. Not that they have the same, things to use, but it is easy for both, sides of the dice. So I think that's one thing that we do.
Yeah, usability of a product can often outweigh features, especially if the features are fancy and they're high, they sound great and the marketing is great and they invest a bunch of dollars to make sure that they're in front of your face. But you can clearly see where the dollars this company spends goes. With Azibo, all of our dollars are really focused on customer experience, in my opinion. And it shows. I think if somebody compares us to almost any of our competitors, if they log in to the platform and see the features, I think it'll definitely show.
Yeah, for sure.
All good.
Okay. So now we're going to kind of get into like company culture and product development and everything. So how do you, I think this is kind of like one of those other questions, but it's kind of like touching like the same, like the company culture and like our brand and, our humanizing and everything. So how do you think like our company culture at Azibo influences like the products that we offer? Like how do we like kind of like live and breathe through our products, our brand?
Yeah, I think,
and that kind of goes with like us, like our customer service and like, but also just, just how are we humanize and like our 1+1 = 3, like, all of our, core values and everything.
yeah, I think, look, I've worked at companies with great cultures and companies with poor cultures. And I think with everything from the marketing to the customer experience, you can kind of see how companies operate on the back end. There are a lot of companies that I find don't really have the company culture that we have here. And it has shown in the past in the quality of work put out and things like that. So I think what Azibo's culture is a bunch of people who enjoy working with each other. But not even just that, because I feel, a lot of times when you hear people talk about what do you like about this company, they say the people. So the people here are great, but that's kind of a baseline. What I feel like people here really do well is collaborate. They care, they're invested, and they want to see us succeed.
Yeah, 100%.
And we succeed through our customers. So, something so simple like live support. Our competitors don't offer live support. When I had an issue with the competitor I was using, I could only send a message and their support team wasn't even all that responsive. Sometimes it would take hours to get a message back. And they did support me and everything like that, but Azibo has live customer support. And that's something that, landlords who are often not tech workers like I am, but, agents, they're older, they own properties that they've inherited through years of either living in them or family members passing away and inheriting them. These are not tech focused people, and we want to get them on a platform and make their life easier, but we need to help with that transition. And it's not only young millennial Gen Z tech focused employees that we're focused on. We're focused on landlords of all shapes and sizes, of all ages and all demographics. And things like live customer support really do help don't understand tech as well, who don't have the ability to kind of just use a product and understand things that a millennial might understand or somebody else might understand regardless of age. So I think those things really show through our customers. So the collaboration, how quickly ideas can go from a customer thought or customer request to a feature on our product roadmap. The investment, a lot of people here are landlords and use the platform for their own businesses. So, we can find bugs and things like that really fast and get them turned around, right? Like as I see something, I have the, uncanny ability to just simply send a message to the head of the team and get that right on their roadmap. Because if I'm having the issue, a bunch of other customers likely are too, right? So because we're invested, because we have that commitment to the customer, as a lot of us are customers, we have the ability to really influence it. And it's not something that will get pushed off because we're an employee or, oh, you have an issue, but you're an employee, who cares? It's, oh, if you have this issue, other customers might too. So, let's see how big of an issue it is and let's put it in the roadmap and get that fixed. Because, a lot of people might not call. A lot of people might see an issue and say like, oh, this doesn't work, I'm not going to use the platform, or, oh, this doesn't work, I guess I can't do this. But, we have that voice here, and we have a company culture that supports um, that supports supporting that supports fixing these issues and really making sure that our customers aren't having the same ones.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I do think that's a leverage that we have is like since we do have people in our, team and on our employees and everything that do use, our platform and everything. And I feel like, yeah, every single time I feel if there's a problem, we know it pretty relatively quickly. And I think that's a good thing about our customers too, is they reach out to us like relatively, super quick, especially since they know that we answer. So I feel like every single time we do have a problem, it does get fixed relatively fast, like
Yeah,
super quick, fixed very quickly.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, I've only
Um,
been here a couple of weeks, and I've had questions, and it's led to changes, at least in the roadmap and things like
yeah,
that. So it really is awesome.
yeah. I feel like we're very productive, and I feel like if anybody, that's one thing. I guess it ties into that question as well. Is if anybody has an idea or a change or something that they think it could make something better, it's immediately talked about or it's brought up. I love that, and I think it's a big thing that makes Azibo what it is. Is we have that ability and that space that to feel safe enough to bring it up or have that change or ability.
And as a customer, you can often feel when a company cares. And
Yeah.
Azibo is a small company. Real estate is a relationship-based business, right? Real estate is very offline. You're dealing with an agent to buy your house. You're dealing with usually agents to you know find you a property. If you need insurance or title, escrow, all these different things when you're buying a property as an agent or as a tenant. You're hoping that you have a good landlord and you have all these people. But it's a relationship-based business at the end of the day. And I don't think property management is any different, right? My property
Right.
manager is an independent person. He's a single person, and he's one of the most important people in my life, never mind my business
Right.
at this point. And my property management software should also be one of the most important people in my business. And
Yeah.
Azibo might not get everything right the first time, but when customers reach out and they see things getting worked on and they see improvements and they get the product update emails and they see that they have a voice and they're being heard, that just generates loyalty because
Yeah.
I think we're all used to reaching out to companies or having an issue with the company and sending an email or sitting on hold for hours and hours only to get kind of
Right.
generated canned responses. But
Yeah.
when you have something that's so important to your business, and
Right.
they actually listen to you and you feel like they listen to you and you see change, you don't expect everything to be perfect the first time, but that generates a
Hmm.
lot of loyalty when a customer can come in and really be hopeful or really have the expectation that when they have an issue, it will get resolved.
Right, yeah. And like if a company, if you do have complications at a company and like a platform that you use, but if you love it so much and they continue to, help you and make improvements and fix your problems, you're obviously, gonna want to continue using that company and that platform because they do have, good features and good customer support. And it's not like, they're leaving these problems unsolved and they're not continuously helping you. And it's not going to be 100% all the time. We do make mistakes, but if we're continuously trying to help you and customer support is good, and we're attempting to fix our problems where we do slip up, and we're taking accountability, that's all that we can do. And I think that's something that we strive to do every day.
Yeah, for sure.
um how was your
All good.
experience as an employee influenced your expectations or satisfaction like as a user?
It's made my expectations higher. Like there's more that I use this platform for today than I thought I would 3 weeks ago when I registered.
Right.
Um, I registered just as an interviewer and somebody who wanted to be able to ask questions about the platform in my interview. But once I did, and once I started working here, I signed onto the platform, added all my properties, things like that. And now, I mean, just like I said earlier, when it came time to sign a new lease, literally yesterday, um, my property manager has our company lease and the one that was reviewed by the lawyer, this and that. But I was like, you know what? I've heard about other situations that are not included in that lease. And I know Azibo can handle those situations with their lease solution. So I told them to scrap it. I took all the tenant's information, I added it into the platform, and I sent and had the lease e-signed. And literally within 15 minutes, I had a lease built out, emailed, signed by me, signed by the property manager, and signed by the tenant. So
Yeah. I think that's such a cool feature. I saw like the breakdown of that in one of our demos. I thought it was so cool.
yeah, I mean, the other, I had a Word document with a lease, and I was going to have to go into DocuSign, which I would have had to pay for,
Right.
and like go through and pick all the different places I needed a signature. And I probably would have screwed it up. Like I've screwed up plenty of times as an agent, just forgetting to get something signed. Then you have to go through the process again, right? I mean, this was, we use turnkey as a investor term. This was as turnkey a solution as you can ask for. I mean, it literally took me 15 minutes. It went through all these different scenarios, and I was able to, have it sent, signed, and I use in this case I use the housing authority. The tenant is getting assistance, and the housing authority reviewed the lease and approved it. It was all good to go. It was so easy. Something that did take me money and time to create. Would have taken me even more money and time to send out and get approved.
Yeah, exactly.
Azibo, it took me, 15 minutes might even be a lot, like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It was super, super quick and easy.
Yeah, again, with the streamlined, it's just something, that we praise, and it's definitely a big thing for us. Okay, to wrap it up, we're just going to talk about like future vision and everything. So where do you see Azibo going in the future, both as an employee and as a user?
As an employee, I think it's going to become the premier property management software. I mean, we're creating features that I haven't seen in other companies I've used. We're creating a software that does, some other companies might be better at certain things, like there might be better accounting and bookkeeping software. But as far as like the full suite of products, I think Azibo is really going to continue building features and being that all-in-one solution that has the highest user satisfaction in the industry. And I think that's kind of what we're going to strive for.
Yeah. And then how do you think your role as an Azibo employee can contribute to enhancing like the user experience and like in everything that you do in your position?
Yeah, I think as an investor, Azibo just makes my life so much easier, and it's going to make my tenants' lives easier as well. The all-in-one communication, the ability to have kind of easily signed documents and things like that. I think my tenants are going to really enjoy not having to deal with a lot of offline solutions.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you for joining us on Azibo Stories. We hope these insights from your fellow property owners and renters have inspired you to explore how Azibo can streamline and enhance your property management and renting experience. Remember, with Azibo, you're not just managing properties, you're building success. Visit us at azibo.com to learn more. Until next time, keep thriving with Azibo.